Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today we finna react there. I rank all 21 games from EA Sports Big. Oh man, EA Sports Big. Don't y'all remember EA Sports Big? Come on, man. NBA Street, NFL Street, FIFA Street. The first Def Jam game. I don't think Fighting for New York was a fight. Yeah, Fighting for New York was an EA game. Not an EA Sports Big game. It was EA game. They got switched over to a different division. And what else? SSX, whatever you call that shit. I never played that game. I think they had some other games on there too, if I'm not mistaken. But they got 21 games. 21. Without further ado, let's get right into it, man. All 21 EA Sports Big games ranked. All I know is this is coming from a white guy's perspective. I'm not gonna judge, but let's be real. I think everybody here, everybody in the chat, because we live right now, and everybody across the world, I think we all in agreement that if we talking S tier, NBA Street Volume 2 gotta be there. I think we gotta keep it there, bro. Let's be real, bro. NBA Street Volume 2 is the GOAT. It's not even up for fucking debate. What game did they possibly make that's better than NBA Street Volume 2? There's been no other game. Now I haven't played NFL Street at all. I've never played NFL Street. Every time I play NFL Street, I got my ass whooped by the computer, by people I played against. I'm just terrible at that game. I will do that playthrough one day. I'll do that playthrough one day. I got it on the Xbox. But I don't know, man. All right, let's get into this video, though.
So about a week ago, someone on Twitter brought up NFL Street, and when I worked at EA, it's one of the titles I worked on, and I said that it was one of the highlights of my career. And it struck me that when I was at EA, that some of my favorite things that the company produced were the EA Sports Big titles, whether it was SSX or NFL Street or the incredible NBA Street. There were amazing games created under the EA Sports Big imprint that were just fantastic. Today, we are looking at every single EA Sports Big game and ranking them. Let's get started. All right, so we're going alphabetical, and that means we are starting off strong with one of my absolute favorite games from the EA Sports Big lineup, and that was Def Jam Vendetta. If you have not played any of the Def Jam games, I will tell you that Def Jam Fight for New York is a better game, but Def Jam Vendetta is a spectacular professional wrestling game starring your favorite hip-hop artists.
That's why he's the GOAT!
Silly,
the GOAT!
It's absolutely idiotic on paper, but it works because they use the Aki engine, the engine that was used in games like WWF No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, and they just make this huge, over-the-top, bombastic game starring amazing artists, and it's just so much fun. Some of my favorite memories working at EA were playing the Def Jam series on break, whether it was Vendetta or Fight for New York, sitting with my friend Rob and playing him, or having Kudo from EA Chicago come down and challenge testers to beat him in Def Jam are just some of the most positive memories I have of working in the game industry. It is one of my absolute favorite things was this series, and Def Jam Vendetta is a fantastic game. Like I said, Fight for New York is a better game, but I can't find fault with Vendetta. It's a perfect game to me. It's something I go back to all the time. It's a fantastic game to play.
I agree with that. I hate the disrespect that people don't. I hate the fact that people don't give Vendetta its respect just because Def Jam Fighting for New York is the better game. I get it. It's the better game, but let's not act like the first game wasn't fire. Let's not act like... I hate how we just throw Vendetta into a shuffle and be like, yeah, that was cool, but look at this over here. Let's look at Fighting for New York. It's like Fighting for New York is cool, but Vendetta was just as good, if not on the same par. Even though I will say Vendetta Fight for New York took it like steps above with the fighting styles and stuff like that. But I just feel like it don't get the flowers and respect that it deserves. Me personally.
Looks and sounds incredible. I'm giving Def Jam Vendetta an S.
Most definitely. Let's go, man. Come on, man. S tier. Come
That's
on.
what I'm talking about.
Next
That's
up
why
was
he's
a series
here today.
that
That's why
I
he's
didn't
the
really
GOAT.
anticipate enjoying
The
as much as I
GOAT.
did. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the FIFA games. I don't know, it's just a boring series to me. It captures soccer beautifully. Like, I like soccer, but the games themselves are just a little boring. It's a little too much to manage, and I don't have a lot of fun with them. But when FIFA Street got announced, oh, I remember that very well. We were working on NASCAR 2006 at the time. I remember when it got announced, or when we first found out about it at Tiburon. And it was something where we had already done NFL Street, and I mean, NFL Street was a good game, but FIFA Street just lended itself better to that over-the-top kind of trick style that was a signature experience with the EA Sports big imprint. And when FIFA Street...
I'll say this about FIFA Street. It's a fun game. Don't get me wrong. This is a fun-ass game. But So I had this, this is like, what is this, like 6th grade? Yeah, this is like, this is 6th grade. It was this one girl, man. I came over to her house one day, I'm trying to clap some cheeks, I'm trying to clap some cheeks, but she wasn't going at that time. She's protective of the pussy, which I respected. I wasn't no fiend for the pussy like that back then. I had my ways, but but nah. So we was just chilling at her crib, and she just so happened to have FIFA Street. Boy, she whooped my ass every single time. I got blew out, nigga. She blew me out bad one time. Nigga, it was 28-0, nigga. I just looked at her like, I'm about to leave, dog. I wanted to throw her controller at her TV and just leave. I was about to chuck it at her fucking, cause she was talking shit too. She was talking shit. Nigga, she blew me out 28-0, nigga. That, you know how bad that made me feel, dog? 28-0. I got my ass kicked. Oh, man. Oh, so ass at the game. Facts. It's all good though. I still ended up clapping cheeks, but I still kind of want my get back on that FIFA Street though. I'll say it though. Melissa, wherever you are, I want my get back. I want my get back, Melissa. You know exactly. You know who the fuck this is, nigga. Oh man.
Released, I remember picking it up on the GameCube and just falling head over heels in love with it.
Now, ass,
going
nigga,
back to it now, it's a little
28-0.
bit clunky in areas, and you can see what they were going for, and you can see what they got nearly perfect in subsequent sequels, but this one is still a really good game. Absolutely above average, really fun. It looks and sounds really great. It has that signature over-the-top style that I mentioned. The character models are all a little skewed. No one actually looks like themselves. Everyone looks kind of like a cartoon version of them. The music is great. The gameplay is really fun. And it's got a nice challenge to it. Like, it's something that took what FIFA was and made it better, as far as I'm concerned. FIFA Street gets a B.
I said I can't really rank FIFA Street.
All right, going on to FIFA Street 2, which released in 2006. And I remember when it released, I was kind of thinking, like,
I can't really speak on FIFA Street because I only played it like 3 times.
I don't really
in my
see how
life,
they can
so
do
I
any
can't
better.
really
And then I
rank
got it, and it blew my mind because it was just
you
an
ever
improvement
played
in every
any
single
FIFA?
possible way. You went from going
FIFA 10,
east-west on the screen to going
that's the only
north-south, which
FIFA
to
I
me
ever
was a
owned was
natural
FIFA
change
10.
because FIFA Street felt a little bit like NHL hockey to me. It was a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit faster, and I really enjoyed having it go north-south. I thought the gameplay just flowed better that way rather than having to deal with the east-west movement. By the way, why didn't we ever get an NHL Street? Like, an NHL Street hockey game would have been amazing on the EA Big label, but regardless.
I think the Street...
Gameplay-wise, FIFA Street 2 is...
I think the reason they didn't get a hockey Street game is because the Street series was kind of like... It was kind of like getting oversaturated at this point. Because you got to think about it. The basketball genre was like OD at this point. You had NBA Ballers. Then you had NBA Street. You had the And1 series. The shit was getting kind of oversaturated. Then you had NFL Street. Like, at some point, it's like, okay, we can draw the line at these games right here. But it's like, then it starts getting a little too oversaturated when you start bringing in FIFA. If they would have brought in hockey would have never fucking sold. Even if it was a good game, it would have never sold because the market was becoming too oversaturated, bro.
Just stronger than the first FIFA Street in pretty much every single way. Gameplay is crisper, there's more teams, the design is better, the different environments that you're able to play in look better and are more fun to play in. I just think it's a stronger game. They got everything right with FIFA Street 2. And unfortunately, continuing on in the series, it didn't get any better. FIFA Street 2, though, is an excellent game. It's not perfect, but it's damn close. FIFA Street 2 gets an A. All right, moving on to the final generation that any EA Big title was on. This is the Xbox 360 version of FIFA Street 3, and the big problem, I think, with every single EA Sports Big release that happened after the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox generation, that everything just felt too clean. Like, one of the signature things about those early games was that they felt a little bit grungy, they felt a little bit dirty. They felt lived in, for lack of a better term. This was like going from the original Star Wars trilogy to the prequels.
What do you mean by dirty, sir? What do you mean by that?
It didn't feel real anymore.
Hold on,
FIFA Street 3...
Hold on. We ain't gonna speed past it like you can just say what you just said. What do you mean by dirty? What do you mean by that? I need an explanation. What you mean by dirty? What do you... I'm trying to figure out what this nigga talking about, cuz.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
You saying that these are too clean, but the previous games look dirty. What you saying, sir? Because if I remember correctly, a lot of these games came from urban cities, urban areas. So what you trying to say? You trying to say the urban areas are dirty, my brother? My brother. Please don't tell me that you bringing this up like that, my brother. We need you to clarify that a little bit better, my brother. What do you mean by clean and dirty? You need to clear that up for us, my brother. You bring the Dr. Umar out of me. You started to bring the Dr. Umar out of me, my brother. I ain't gonna play the song just yet. I'm gonna let you slide this time.
Just felt too polished, and not in like a positive gameplay experience type of polish, just it's really clean and everything feels like it's skating and everyone feels like they're a mannequin, like everyone looks like they're made of plastic. And rather than that being good and kind of lending to the overall unbelievability of the character models in the FIFA Street series, this one just kind of lost the plot and doesn't work. The gameplay isn't as good, it's a little bit slow, it doesn't feel like it takes advantage of what the Xbox 360 could do, and the tricks are kind of boring. Like, taking away that signature experience of what the FIFA Street series was by having those different tricks just didn't work for me. I know a lot of people enjoy this one, but for me, this has never clicked, and it still doesn't to this day. It's not a bad game, but it is so decidedly average. It's just there. FIFA Street 3 gets a C.
I guess moving on to NBA now, right?
I think for most of us, when we think about the esports franchise, we think of games like NBA Street, like FIFA Street, and like SSX. But the first few years of the EA Big imprint was the Wild West. There was so much crazy crap that released, and one of those games was Freak Style. Freakstyle was a motocross game that is so ridiculously over the top and tried to duplicate everything that SSX brought to the equation, and it didn't really get there, but points for trying. The character models are pretty average for the time period, I will say. The voice acting is horrific. It is atrocious. It's so bad. The music is pretty middling. The sound effects, there's only kind of like 2 sound effects when you're driving your motorcycle. It's either full throttle or sort of full throttle. That's really all there is to it. I will say that the tracks are really fun, and the gameplay has the capability of being excellent. Like, there are certain races and certain elements of this game where you are playing where you're going to be completely drawn in and just enveloped by what Freakstyle offers. Unfortunately, there's also aspects of the gameplay, like some of the physics decisions and some of the different trick operations that go into the game that just do not work and really take away from the fun of this game. I really, really wish that this had kind of spawned into something else or kind of carried forward into a sequel, because there is so much good opportunity here, but it just unfortunately ends up being a fairly average game. Freakstyle, I have a lot of fun with it, but objectively, it's not perfect. Freakstyle gets a C.
It seemed pretty basic and bare bones.
For so many people, the one that started it all for them with the EA Sports big franchise.
What we talking about, man? What we talking about here, man? Let's go to the real GOAT of this whole fucking shit. Who we really came here to see, my nigga. Let's go, man. Come on, dog.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Let's go. NBA Street, man. In the first NBA, if I had to rank all the NBA Streets, I'd probably say NBA Street Volume 1 would probably be the lowest on the totem pole, which would be like a B. The first NBA Street, I'm putting at a B. NBA Street Volume 2, you know that's S tier. NBA Street Volume 3, I'm putting that in the A tier. And NBA Street Home Court, I would put that in the A tier as well. So yeah, that's how I would do it. That's just me though. Y'all can have y'all little discussion.
Is this guy right here. This is NBA Street. Now, if there's any professional sport that lends itself to being a street level game, it is the NBA. Taking place in signature courts like Rucker Park in New York, NBA Street captures the spirit and just the incredible showmanship of what street basketball is and nails it. This series is spectacular. I love every single game from the NBA Street series that released in the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox generation. All of them are fantastic. All of them are fun. All of them do something new every single time you play it. All of them try new things and succeed every single time. This was the one game when I started at EA, I went to our company store and I was told, you need to pick up NBA Street. It's that good. And I have zero regrets that I did, because it is one of the best games on the brand. NBA Street is not perfect. It is damn close, though. It's going to get an A.
I put it in B, but alright.
Up next is NBA Street Volume 2, and this is my favorite
That's
in the
what I'm
NBA
talking
Street
about!
series.
That's why he's
It took
the MVP!
everything that Volume 1
That's
did
why he's the
with
GOAT!
these amazing
The
experiences of
GOAT!
street basketball and just...
What we talking about, man? What we talking about? What we talking about? What we talking about here? What we talking about here? It's the motherfucking GOAT, nigga. The motherfucking GOAT, nigga. So many hours on this game, dog. So many hours on this game. My PlayStation 2 CD can no longer play. I played it out. I can't even play it no more. My GameCube version is damn near scratched up as well, which is why I got it on the emulator. What is we talking about here? The motherfucking GOAT, the best to ever come out, man. Come on, man. This the only game. Well, I ain't gonna say the only game, but before 2K, this was the only game to include multiple versions of Michael Jordan. Just keep that in mind. This motherfucker right here was a fucking classic right here. The only bad thing I will say about this game is I wish they would have waited till LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Bosh got drafted, bro. If they could have held up just for a couple of fucking months, bro. They could have just held up for a couple of months, bro. And let Wade, Bosh, and Melo get drafted, bro. And LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and them get drafted, bro. I'm telling y'all. This would have been beyond goated at this point. This would have been God level. But anyways, let's get back into the video.
And this is my favorite in the NBA Street Series. It took everything that Volume 1 did with these amazing 3-on-3 street basketball and just added so much to it. You have new trick moves. You have new modes in the game. And this is the first game to introduce the Game Breaker. These are over-the-top crazy moves that are going to happen in game that are almost guaranteed buckets. And when you hit, you're going to be taking points off of the board for your other team. It is absolutely fantastic. It is one of my favorite games on the GameCube, one of the best sports games ever released, and one of the best on the EA Sports big imprint. NBA Street Volume 2 is an S. Up next, we have NBA Street Volume 3, and this continues the absolutely incredible pedigree of those games that released on the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. This is another fantastic version of Street Ball. It's 3-on-3. There's no out of bounds, no fouls, or anything like that. It's a game to 21, and it just plays brilliantly well. They added the trick stick to this game, which is fantastic and lets you kind of chain combos together and build up your Game Breaker meter more. And as much as I love this game and as excellent as it is, to me, it just feels slightly off. Like, it's not quite as fluid and doesn't feel quite as right as Volume 2 did. Now, extra points on the GameCube version because you are able to play as Mario, Peach, and Luigi, which I find hilarious and is a ton of fun to do. It's really great to bring Mario, Peach, and Luigi into a game and have them go off against NBA greats. It's hilarious. The gameplay, though, like I said, does feel like it takes a bit of a step back, so to me, that does knock it down a little bit from that perfect level that Street 2 is at. Street Volume 3, though, gets an A.
That's what I'll rank it. I'll rank it in the A tier.
All right, we're going portable now, and this is going to be NBA Street Showdown. And this is a really interesting game. This kind of takes a little bit from NBA Street Volume 2 with the presentation of NBA Street Volume 3 and kind of squishes them together. And unfortunately, it doesn't really lead to a great game. It's average. It's okay. It's just kind of middle of the road. It doesn't feel as ambitious as the previous NBA Street games. It's still fun. And it's still it's a hell of a technical accomplishment to put this onto the PSP and have it work as well as it does. But to me, not a spectacular title. I do think it's just kind of average, middle of the road. Yeah, NBA Street Showdown is going to get a C.
This shit was kind of mid on the PSP. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was fun, but it's just like it don't hit the same.
All right, the final game in the NBA Street series is NBA Street Home Court, and this is one kind of like my issue with FIFA Street on the Xbox 360 that I have the same problem with. It just feels too polished. Like, it doesn't feel right. It feels off to me. And that's not to say it's a bad game.
Well, brother, I gotta say this. This is the best fucking game they had on the 360. This is the best fucking game they had to produce on the 360. This is the only game where the players look like themselves, the body types, the graphics. Look at this. You can't tell me that they didn't put the most effort into this. This is the most effort I've seen a EA Sports basketball game be put into since up until NBA Live 10. But this is the most I've seen EA put the most effort in when it comes to a basketball game. So if it's too polished, I can't really knock it for that, because looking at EA's track record going forward with basketball games, I think it's safe to say that they did a phenomenal job. That's why I put this in the A tier, because this is one of the last good basketball games EA ever fucking produced.
Fine, it just doesn't feel nearly as enjoyable to me as NBA Street Volume 2 and Volume 3. It's just kind of there. It feels like an average 3-on-3 basketball game as opposed to something really special like we got with the first 3 NBA Street games. I can't really say it's a bad game by any stretch of the imaginations. It's fun. It's just, compared to those other 3, I really got to knock it down to a middle-of-the-road game. Street Home Court is going to get a C.
Hell no. A tier.
All right, we're up to one that I actually worked on, and this is NFL Street. I remember when this got announced and we found out that we were going to be working on it, I was so excited to get put onto this because it was either work on NFL Street or work on exterior products and not something that was part of our studio's kind of lineage. Now, at Tiburon, we were famous for Madden. That was our main franchise. That was the main thing we made. And being able to kind of take the guts of what made Madden work and put that into NFL Street was just so cool. I worked on the Xbox team. This is the GameCube version you're seeing here, but I worked on the Xbox team. I was involved with standards and practices. Every company has a thing called standards or TQC or something like that, where you have to go through and make sure that you're living up to what the console manufacturer expects each game to have. And that's everything from performance down to making sure that you have the right button icons and right nomenclature for buttons in the game. So that's why you'll always hear me say when I'm talking about a Nintendo product, I won't say the D-pad, I'll say the plus control pad, because that's what it was in the Nintendo standards at the time. It's just the way I was trained. It's stuck in my head. NFL Street, though, okay, let me get back to actually talking about the game here. NFL Street was something that we were all excited to work on, and it was such a fun project because it was so different than anything we'd done in studio before. This was over the top, this was ambitious, and people that I worked with provided voices in the game. My friend AP, Anthony Price, was someone that did a voice in the game, and being able to play this game now, almost 20 years after it released, and hearing AP mouth off to me just takes me back and just makes me remember all those incredible positive experiences of working with him on my first project on NCAA Football 2004. It is such a signature memory for me and such an incredible game that is legitimately one of the best experiences I had working in the gaming industry. NFL Street technically might not be as ambitious as other games on this list. It might not be as great as other games on this list, but to me, it's spectacular. I'm not going to tell you it's perfect because it definitely has its flaws, but NFL Street, it totally gets an A.
I can't rank the NFL game because I rarely.
All right, now we come to NFL Street 2, and this is when I'm able to be a little bit more objective about things. I didn't work on NFL Street 2. This released the same year as NFL Street. We released NFL Street in January of 2004, and then NFL Street 2 dropped in December of 2004. And by that point, I had already moved on to working on NASCAR 2005, and it was really curious to me that we were pushing the acceleration so quickly to release another NFL Street game when, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, NFL Street was a good game and it was fun, but it wasn't really like this crazy over-the-top game that a lot of people flocked to. I mean, it got pretty good scores. It got an average of a B from most reviewers. And it was weird that we released NFL Street 2. And when I look at it objectively now, and I look at what the ratings are, and I look at me playing it now, and I remember the experiences I have playing it, yeah, we were pretty much right on the money. It made no sense to release this game right away because it's almost identical. It's almost the exact same game, to the point where we have almost the exact same audio files in it. The music changed, sure, but any voice acting in the game, identical to the first one. So, yeah, I don't know. This one to me just... This is a weird one. It's still fun. It's still an enjoyable game, but definitely objectively looking at it, knowing that I was working on something else at the time, it's definitely not an A. It's probably a B. I could be talked into a C, but I'm gonna go B- for this one. I'm gonna use the rare minus option on this one, and since it's my video, I'm allowed. But yeah, NFL Street 2, it's gonna get a B-. All right, we are halfway through the rankings. Let's take a look at the standings as they are right now.
EA Sports.
All right, we're moving on to NFL Street 3 now. This one released a couple of years later. This one released in 2006, and unfortunately, it just kind of continues the trend of what happened with NFL Street 2. It's more of the same. It's fine, it plays okay, but it doesn't do anything new or ambitious. You got some new environments, and really that's about it. So NFL Street 3, like I was hinting at with NFL Street 2, it gets a C. This one just doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for me. It's a middle-of-the-road game. It's average. All right, now we're moving on again to the PS3, Xbox 360 generation, and this is NFL Tour.
Oh, this game
and I want to thank AKA the Frank Man for this footage because my pass-through still isn't working for my PS3. And yeah, this game, boy. All right, so this game here, it took what we did with NFL Street and stripped out kind of any identity that the NFL Street series had and made it clean. It made it so the point where you were playing as these NFL characters, and like it says, it's called NFL Tour. You were on tour. You were going to these different areas, and you were playing on these cookie-cutter environments and doing these boring-ass gameplay maneuvers. I mean, the players are all in, like, sensible shorts and jerseys. No one is wearing anything interesting. It is like, oh, God, I hate this game so much. It just doesn't work. I do not like this one. NFL Tour was a huge disappointment for me. I hadn't played this until this year. I had never played this one. And to see what we took the NFL Street Series 2 to making it into this is just a letdown. NFL Tour gets a D.
I would have put it in F. Shit was terrible.
All right, remember that part where I said the early days of EA Big was the Wild West? Everyone thinks of games like NBA Street, like SSX. No one talks about Shocks. And Shocks is good. Shocks is straight up a rally racing game, and I am a sucker for excellent rally racing games. Now, this one isn't excellent, it's just good, mind you. But
I never heard of
Shocks
this.
was legitimately a surprise for me. When I bought this game in getting ready for doing this video, I had no idea that I was going to enjoy Shocks nearly as much as I did, because really, I expected kind of a very boring, very middling racing game. But what I got was something that was like solid and really fun.
That game was
I
fucking
so
terrible,
wish
dog.
that we had kept up with this when
I
I
got
was
that
at
shit from
EA, because
Blockbuster.
my NASCAR team
Played that
could
game
have
for
taken
like
this engine
30
and made
minutes.
something unbelievable.
I put that game right back
But
on the counter.
it only
and
had
told
one
my mom,
iteration,
"You can
it only
take
had
that
one
back to
release.
Blockbuster. I don't
It's a
wanna
really
play
good
it."
game. It's really fun. It looks, sounds, and plays really well. Shocks gets a B.
I never heard of this game.
All right, we are now on to another one of those Wild West games from the early days of EA Sports Big, and this is Sledstorm. Sledstorm is a snowmobile racing game. A sled's a snowmobile's a sled, just so you know. And this one is another really strong game, kind of like Shocks. Had zero expectations about this one. First off, did you know this was a sequel to a 1999 game that released on the PS1? It totally is, and you know what else? It's pretty good. It's really fun. Now, it's kind of clunky in spots, and I think this might just be speaking to me primarily because I really like snowmobiles, and I really like the fact that they put Zoe and Simon in here from SSX. I thought that was a nice little kind of continuous cross-promotion there. But I do enjoy it. I think it's really fun. This is probably the one where most people's mileage is going to vary, so I can really see people hating this one, but for me, I thought it's really fun. I'm giving Sledstorm a B. I go back to it pretty regularly.
I never heard of this.
All right, we're moving on to the big guns now, and this is the SSX run. Now, I'm going to tell you guys straight up. These are all going to be highly rated. None of them fall below a B. The only one that gets to a B is the one on the Wii, SSX Blur. So we're going to go kind of rapid fire through SSX because I can speak for a long time glowingly about how excellent this series is. SSX, the first one released in 2000. This was a PS2 game. It is not a perfect game. It does a lot really well, but there's a lot also that goes into this game that you can see what they were kind of building towards, but they weren't able to quite get there in the first or the second game. But it is still an incredibly solid title. SSX, the first one from 2000, is gonna get an A. Moving on to 2001's SSX Tricky, this was my introduction to the series. This was, much like NBA Street, this was one of the ones that I was told, you need this game. And so correct, so accurate, so fantastic. This game takes everything that SSX did and ramps it up. The tricks are bigger, the controls are better, the characters are more out there. The gameplay is over the top and significantly more advanced than what we had in the first one, and everything just works. Now, there are some things where things are a little bit clunky and the physics get a little bit wonky because, much like the first one, you could see what they were going for, but they didn't quite get there. Even with all of those problems stated, and by objectively looking at it, I can tell you that SSX Tricky is a great game, but SSX 3 is better. I will tell you that SSX Tricky, for me, is something that elevates, because I can't be objective about this, because this is a game that I have put hundreds and hundreds of hours into. It is something I love. It is something I used to play regularly with my friends. It is something I used to talk about on breaks with my friends. My friend Todd and I used to play this all the time at EA, and it is something to me that has such powerful nostalgia wrapped up in it that I cannot be objective about it. That is why SSX Tricky is getting an S.
I can't speak on the SSX games because I never played them.
All right, moving on to SSX 3 now, and this is objectively the best of the bunch. This is an unbelievable title. Everything that SSX Tricky did right, SSX 3 somehow pluses it and does it better. There are better character options. The voice acting is fantastic. The design work is great. There are memorable courses. There are different gameplay modes. And everything that SSX Tricky did, like I said, SSX 3 just does it better. This is the best SSX game, if I'm being objective and taking all emotion out of it. This is the best SSX game ever released. It is spectacular. It is fun. It is challenging.
I can't really speak on this
full
game
of replay
here.
value because there are so many different things to unlock for each character, and it just does everything.
I never played
perfect.
this game.
I love SSX 3. This is the one I go back to the most
demo
frequently. As much as I love
for the
Tricky,
game, but I never
3
played
is the
the
one I
game.
go back to the most frequently
I
because
never
it's
played
just
the
that
game
good.
as
It
like-
holds up to this
like
day.
it's
And everything that 3 did,
capacity.
subsequent SSX releases weren't able to replicate. And
I
that
only
is how you
remember the
know
demos
it's
from,
that good. SSX 3 gets an S.
From Walmart, going to Walmart and playing the demos in the gaming section.
All right,
I
this
miss
is
the
the
days.
last SSX release for the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox generation. This is SSX on Tour. This is the GameCube version of it. Now, there was a release on the PSP as well, but I don't have that one. I haven't been able to play it, so I can't rank that one, but we're going to go with the GameCube version here, and this is an incredibly strong game. Where this one falters a bit is the fact that it leans heavily on custom characters. And custom characters are great. I think that's fantastic. I think it's a fun way to take the series, but
Nigga said
I
game
really
cast.
like the different kind of characters and the
No, I
lore
got
that was set up
PlayStation
in
2
the
though.
SSX universe when the game was first established. And having them kind of
No, I
take a
got
step back kind of
Gamecast.
sucks a little bit.
Oh,
I
I
do
mean,
love
this
the art
GameCube,
direction of this
that's
game.
like I
Everything
ain't
being kind of
goddamn.
set as a notebook or a sketchbook looks amazing. The gameplay is fantastic. The GameCube version actually lets you play as
You said
Nintendo characters, which I
Gamecast.
think is pretty cool, but for the most part, it doesn't quite hit the notes that SSX 3 did, because, like I said, taking out those memorable characters just
Oh,
kinda
shit.
brings it down a bit. That said, SSX Tour, still a great game.
I might-
It gets an A.
I might play it one day on this channel. I might play it one day.
All right, and the final SSX game released under the EA Sports big label was SSX Blur on the Nintendo Wii. And this game is, it's okay. This is the weakest of this entire stretch run. Like, this is the last one released under the EA big label, and it is the weakest one. It kind of forces you into motion controls, which kind of stink. The graphics are a little bit muddy, and the gameplay is a little bit off. Like, trying to take that signature trick style that we got in the original SSX run of games and putting it into a Wii Remote just didn't work. This one's actually a prequel to SSX On Tour. It takes place between 3 and On Tour, so you kind of get that story there, but I don't know. This one just, I don't know. I still like it. It's still a good game, and it is a great Wii title, but when compared against the other SSX games, it is the weakest of the bunch. SSX Blur is going to get a B. All right, and while that was the last game released under the EA big branding, I actually got a couple more I want to talk about here, and one of those is one I worked on. This is Madden NFL Arcade. This is actually the last game I worked on in the game industry. I really loved arcade. We had a team of like 4 or 5 people. The game is really fun. I actually think it takes what we did in NFL Tour and makes it enjoyable because it plays a little bit more fast and loose with the rules. You actually get power-ups where you're able to cause different fumbling or speed things up or have like perfect precision passing, and I thought that was really clever and made for a significantly more enjoyable game than what we got with NFL Tour. It's not perfect. It's definitely a little clunky. You could see that this was EA trying to make their version of NFL Blitz and it just not working out. But it's still fun, and I still think it's a clever title. Madden NFL Arcade, released in 2009, gets a B. And finally, we talk about 2012's SSX, a game that was unfortunately the swan song for the series. And I really wish that we had this turn into a kind of a revelation of what the series could become and had taken it to new heights, and that we were still getting SSX games today. And it just didn't happen. It's a fine game. It's fun. It's really, really well made. Like, the gameplay is superb. It's still a good game. It's still really fun, and I really enjoy playing it, but it does not have the same charm that the original SSX games do. I'm going to give SSX on the 360, the 2012 release, a B.
EA Sports.
Wait, go back. What? Oh my god.
EA Sports.
Alright, so let's see here. So in S tier, he got Vendetta, NBA Street Volume 2, SSX Tricky, and SSX 3. In A tier, you got FIFA 2, NBA Street V3, NFL Street, SSX, the original, and SSX on tour. Then in B tier is FIFA Street, NFL Street, which surprised the shit out of me. That surprised the shit out of me. He put NFL Street 2 in the B tier. A couple other games I don't know about, and then SSX Blur, Madden Arcade. I kind of low-key want to go find that because that looked kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. And then the last SSX to ever exist. And in the C tier is FIFA Street 3, Freestyle 3, NBA Street Home Court 3, which I don't agree with. NBA Street Showdown. I don't really count this game because it was a portable game. It was a PSP game. So I can't really count it. I don't really count PSP games like that unless they got ported to the PlayStation 2 or 360. So he was too generous with some of these. NFL Street 3. I can't really speak on the NFL Street City, but NFL's Tour. Yo, this game right here, I would put this in F. But if I had to rank it, Def Jam Vendetta definitely goes in the S tier. Volume Street 2 goes in the S tier. And that would be it for me. And then in the A tier, NBA Street most definitely. Volume V3 most definitely. I'll put Home Court in the A tier. And that would be it. Because I didn't play none of these other games. I can't speak on a lot of these other games. Y'all got it from here. The FIFA Streets, the NFL Streets, the SSX. Y'all got it from here. I can't really speak on those games because I never played them. But anyways, I'm just gonna do it for this one. I'll see y'all in the next video. Let me know what do y'all think is the greatest? What's y'all ranking of EA Sports big games if you played all these games? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'll get back to you till then. Peace out.